Welcome back, everybody, to the Right Way Sports Network. I'm your host, Daniel Joseph Alameda, and today we are breaking down the Buffalo Bills offseason. So let's get right into it. Right here, right now, let's do this. The Buffalo Bills are this year's San Francisco 49ers, and here's why. They have a top 5 defense, a great coaching staff, and a run-heavy offensive scheme. Let's start from the top. Josh Allen, I recently dove into his film, and here's what I came away with. Josh Allen will always be hindered by his inaccuracy, right? In college, he was hindered by it. He's hindered by it now, and for the rest of his career, it will hinder him. This isn't to say he's a terrible quarterback or can't improve, because last year he showed he improved. In the intermediate portion of the field, the 10 to 20 yards in the middle of the field, he improved. But it's the inaccuracy is about the easy pitch and catch throws. That is where I have my grudge with Josh Allen, right? It's not about him not being able to throw the ball 70 yards down the field. It's not about him being able to not throw a 90-mile-per-hour fastball, but it's by him missing the easy pitch and catch throws. The swing routes to his running backs, the shallow crossers to his slot receivers. He cannot hit those with consistency. And the bottom line is, I don't think he ever will be able to. Okay? But luckily enough for you, Bills fans, luckily enough for you, he has an athletic ability to cover this weakness. Josh Allen's athletic ability is second to none in the NFL. He's able to use his legs outside of the pocket, and he's able to use his legs to make up for those yards that he lost with the lack of consistency on his throws. And in addition to his athletic ability, the Bills have built a great team to show his strengths versus his weaknesses, right? The Bills are a run-heavy team, so Josh Allen isn't being asked to consistently throw the ball 30 times a game, 40 times a game, because this is a run-heavy offense. The Bills this year have a top 5 running back duo. No one can change my mind about that. Last year, they had Frank Gore to be their pound-the-rock type running back, but he changed teams, so they went out and drafted Zach Moss in the 2020 NFL Draft. And I understand, listen, Devin Singletary, I'm a huge fan, but to me, he's a change of pace running back, right? He's a guy you use in second and long, third and long, when you need a screen pass. When you need a big play, you put Devin Singletary in. But when you just want to pound the rock, when you want to just demoralize an opposing defense, that's what Zach Moss will do to you. Zach Moss's contact balance is second to none in his rookie class. He's arguably going to have a top 3 season out of all rookie running backs, and he's going to be the in-between tackles runner for the Bills. The Bills had the 5th most rushing attempts last year, and there's no reason with Zach Moss that he can't produce right away. He was a major producer for Utah for all 3 years he was at the college, so why can he not step into the Bills right away? He will, and that is why I'm so confident in this rushing attack, because you got 2 great, very unique runners that will help this rushing attack. Not only does Josh Allen have a rushing attack to work with, but he's also got an improved receiving core. We know John Brown was one of the best deep ball receivers last year, but now they added the best deep ball receiver in the entire league, Stephon Diggs, right? Stephon Diggs is going to add an unseen element to this team, a star talent to this offense, and that is what Josh Allen needs to help him, right? So now you got John Brown, Stephon Diggs in the deep ball, and you also added 2 great rookie wide receivers, Gabriel Davis and Isaiah Hodgins. Both guys will be great role players. So the receiving core is revamped, and also they have a great young tight end named Dawson Knox, right? Dawson Knox, the issue with him is his consistency. He had one of the worst seasons last year in terms of drop percentage, so that's not good at all, but he made some spectacular catches, absolutely spectacular. He made one against the Patriots that was a one-handed back shoulder fade, and I was like, damn, this guy is special. So if he adds a little bit more consistency, that helps Josh Allen a boatload. The only thing left on the offense is the offensive line, right? In order to have a good rushing attack, you need a great offensive line. The Bills, it's mediocre. It's middle of the road, right? It was 18th in total PFF rankings, and it's middle of the road. But the biggest thing about them is consistency. Consistency, the word. Last year, they lost no offensive line. So this year, while it may not be the best, they're all the same entire unit from last year, so they're hoping that the consistency helps them this season. Now it is time to get excited, right? Let's talk about the Buffalo Bills defense. Right here is the bread and butter of Sean McDermott. Right here is how the Bills win games. Right here is the Bills' bread and butter. The Bills, their defense ranked 3rd in the league. They gave up the 2nd least points a game, and they gave up the 3rd least yards per game. Their secondary ranked 3rd in the league, while the rush defense ranked 15th. So the rush defense is a little bit of a weakness, but that secondary, let's talk about it, right? It's filled with stars. And this offseason, they did not lose any of that talent. They have star cornerback Trey White, who is arguably the 2nd best cornerback in the entire league, and they have the top 5 safety tandem in Jordan Poyer and Micah Hyde. Jordan Poyer and Micah Hyde individually may not even be top 15 safeties in the league, but together, being together for 3 years, that's consistency. They have a camaraderie about them that allows the Bills defense, their defensive coordinators, to not have to worry about the back end. So that's the safeties, the cornerbacks. We talked about Trey White, but they also added Josh Norman. This was huge, right? You already have Levi Wallace on the other side, but Josh Norman, while some people may be doubting him, now he gets a chance to not be put in the spotlight. Now he gets a chance to be a rotational piece on the secondary, and he may have a chance to thrive. So it's a great flyer for this Bills secondary to take. Their run defense. They did lose defensive tackle Jordan Phillips. This one hurt, right? He was the anchor of the defensive line, but it's not like they don't have a terrible defensive line. They added great rookie AJ Epinesa, who fell to the 2nd round, and he's going to immediately impact their pass rush. Same with Mario Addison, who came from the Panthers. Both of those guys are going to add huge impacts to this depth of this defensive line. Then another huge issue that the Bills have to work through is Ed Oliver. Ed Oliver got arrested this offseason, and he's going to be suspended for at least 2 games, but at most, I want to say 4 games. So they have to figure out a way how to maneuver through that, but if they can maneuver through that for the first couple weeks, they will be set. Their linebacking core is great. You have Tremaine Edmonds, Matt Milano, and both of those guys, AJ Klein as well. All 3 guys are tackling machines. So those 3, their job, because they don't have much depth behind them, their job is to stay healthy, and they have to be consistent with the tackling, right? Because the defense, the secondary, is going to be great. We know that's the bread and butter of the defense, the secondary. So if the secondary is doing their job, they have to continue to contain the running backs and contain the opposing quarterbacks. So basically, this defense relies so much on their secondary, because if their secondary does its job, then the rotational pieces, I'm a huge fan of AJ Epinesa from Iowa. He can get to the quarterback. Mario Addison can get to the quarterback. They can get to the quarterback as long as their secondary continues to do their job. So like I said, this defense is Sean McDermott's baby. This defense is his bread and butter. This is where they make their money, right? But another thing, let's talk about their kickers. I know special teams is often a forgotten art of the NFL, but let's talk about their kickers. Steven Hauschka, he's fallen off. That's the bottom line. I would be very surprised to see him on the roster next year, because they took a kicker in the 5th round of the draft. They took Tyler Bass, who was one of the strongest legs in the entire college football last year. Tyler Bass, expect for him to be the starting kicker for the Buffalo Bills. He's going to be huge for them, because late in games, they need Tyler Bass, a rookie. They need to rely on him to win them games. So it basically, he needs to have a great rookie season for this Buffalo Bills team to really become a great team. So that's the entire roster breakdown. Let me break down their season. I think they're going to win the division. I'm sorry, the Patriots are regressing. The Dolphins aren't there yet, and the Jets have way too many holes to compete for a division title. And with the Bills going 10-6 last year, barely losing any talent, and they added so much talent on their offense, right? You have consistency on the offensive line. You have consistency on the defensive line. You have consistency in your coaching staff. This Buffalo Bills team is primed for a great season. I would be very surprised if the Buffalo Bills do not win 12 or more games. But thank you very much, guys. That concludes the Buffalo Bills offseason breakdown. Make sure you guys hit that like button and subscribe for more, right? Follow us on all our social medias in the description down below, and we will see you next time on the Right Way Sports Network.